He's good. Oh, he's pretty good. He left a couple breaking balls up that he paid for. Other than that, I mean, he was crisp, pitched deep into the game, and wasn't much margin for error for him the way their guy was pitching. And no, he pitched. I thought he pitched pretty well, all things considered. Just a couple mistakes he paid for. Breaking ball he left. He was trying to get it, obviously in a different spot, and left it up out over the plate.
Because as good as Elias was pitching there for the Mariners, for you guys to have those opportunities late in the game to break it open, I mean, how nice was that, but also not to take advantage of it?
Well, that was a tribute to weigh in, and to the guys who pitched. We had Mac needed to pitch, Tommy needed to pitch, and so did Tyler. I don't want those guys to get too long without pitching, but weigh in gave us 7 pretty solid innings. We'll take that, and felt like we'd make a run at them at some point if we could stay in touch with them. So we had some good opportunities, but obviously against a quality back of the game pitcher.
I know you don't want to look at one play. I know you don't like looking at one play in a 9-inning game because a lot of things can change. But that play in the 8th with Jimmy being tagged out at second, or being ruled tagged out at second. I mean, how much did that change things, and how tough is it to not have that overturned?
No, that's Jimmy. It's a hindsight thing. Obviously, doesn't mean anything is going to happen after that happened after the next inning. They probably would have had a different pitcher. I don't look at what happened afterwards. I think that's not fair. And it's kind of Jimmy lets it rip. There's a question whether he's out or safe. It's one of those that they probably didn't. We looked at 3 of them he was safe, and 1 of them he was out, and that's enough to. I'm sure for them not to overturn what was called on the field. If they'd have called him safe, they probably wouldn't have overturned that either. So, I know what the end game is. I get that, but Jimmy thought he could make it, and still questionable whether he did or didn't. But I know what went up on the scoreboard. But it's kind of who he is, and he saw something, he went for it. Didn't work out. Good to get Tyler out there. I'm sure he was fine. There's so few opportunities. I just don't want those guys to. He and TJ both been sitting for a while because our pitchers have been pitching well, and we haven't had a need for what they bring. But I think kind of like Zach, they usually pitch a lot better after they get through one of those outings. And Tommy had 4 days off too. Need to get Zach in there tomorrow. Don't want him to sit more than 3 days.
What was Elias doing that was giving you guys trouble?
A lot of change. When you look at his percent, it happens a lot against us, is that his percentage of fastballs was a whole lot higher than what we figured he would throw tonight, and he threw a lot of changeups, a lot of hitter counts. There's no such thing as a hitter's count anymore in the big leagues. Just, it's almost more of a all-speed count. 2-1, 1-0, 2-0, 3-2. I mean, you go back through it, that's probably the key for him.
Look, I know Chris has been struggling a little bit, but he's kind of a guy you want up there in that situation with runners in the corners, full count. Is that a position where he's he needs to be more aggressive, or do you feel like he on a 3-2 count like that on a close pitch?
Well, it's you got a guy that's kind of scattering around a little bit. He's trying to go away on that pitch, and as a hitter, you get a feel for a catcher moving where he's coming, and then throw it all the way across the plate. And I don't know. Someone said it may have nicked the corner of the plate, and I know it's close. And it's one of those 50-50 calls. We both went. That one went against Chris, and one against us at second base. So. If you knew they were going to call that pitch a strike, you'd have swung at it. I mean, it's hard when you're looking out over the plate where he's been throwing it and is supposed to throw it, and then all of a sudden he cross-fires a ball where he wasn't, and then he gets rewarded for it. But that's the way it goes. But you could see how he can call it a strike easily. Okay.